Hello, everybody. We've got best of three starting up here between Pool Float and DrkZelda35. Pool Float will be mentored by Fudge Fiddle, and Dark Zelda will be mentored by Darth Radius. We're doing Chozos first, and the game should be starting momentarily. Alright, already we get a route divergence with one going down and one going up. Oh, up is the wrong choice. Dark Zelda's using the dark mode map. Oh, they are both using the dark mode map, which is fantastic. I find that a little bit harder to read, but only interesting. Always nice to have those options. Dark Zelda choosing to skip the save point. Admittedly, they haven't done anything yet, so that kind of makes sense, though with the hot room they run into, it could prove a slight time loss if something ends up going wrong. Starting off, we've got super missiles. And more dead ends. It looks like the seed wants them to go up to that red door. Ah, yes. Zelda taking a reset to go check it. An interesting play. Entirely defensible for sure, but I do think it's going to cost him a couple of seconds. We'll float farming up on the Kago. And they're pretty much both at the same spot, or within a screen's distance of it. It's very likely we're going to run into a Morph Ball soon. Head back to the room where they got the supers in. Oh, more hot rooms. Looks like they're going to need to go down in that fire flea room. Ah, reverting. That is... not sure where they're planning to go from that revert. Oh. Through Bat Cave. That seems an unlikely hot run for A medium seed. Oh, though he almost made it. Definitely doable. Meanwhile, Dark Zelda is struggling a bit to get past these annoying boulders. His best bet is probably to try to get into that room with full health and then just damage boost off of the boulders, so they do a lot less damage than the fireballs. But yeah, these are both tricky rooms to have to deal with. Getting through Batcave, though, and got farms on either side of it, so that's nice. One of the doors is already locked off with power bombs. Oh, and the other one's a through door. Oh, into jail. I think his only option is the Firefly room, and it's a hard one. DrkZelda's certainly struggling. Oh, nice. Oh no. Oh, he got through, but hesitated. And a rough early start to the seed. Oh. Pool float taking a death too. Doesn't have the slightly closer save, which is both a blessing and a curse. A blessing because it means not having to go through a hot room, but a curse as it's obviously a longer run back. Good. So let's checking this room. Ah, space jump. I don't think that meaningfully helps anything we've seen so far, unfortunately. Well, it does help get out from the E-tank pickup down below at the Firefly room, that's for sure. This is a tricky jump to do without some sort of extra movement. There's our morph. Fantastic. Hopefully you can navigate out in the dark. Oh. And the spikes got him. That's unfortunate. Not unexpected, though. Those spikes do a lot of damage. Glad to see Pool Float's checking that room before going down. Getting his morph ball. Hopefully they can get out of here with it alive. Looking good. Now resetting the lights. Careful timing. Alright, with that, I think Pool Float should have no trouble making it back to the save point, putting them in a fairly definitive, if not particularly large, lead. Hopefully Dark Zelda can manage to pick up the items down here this run. And blocked by that Covern for a few seconds there. Done. Dark Zelda getting up there without any damage this time. Opting not to reset the lights. It's not so dark, so it makes some sense. And here we're getting Varia, and something else that I looked away from for a second. And a health tank. Oh, and Chad is asking if supers are logical to clear the boulders in Namahaze. I have no idea. It does indeed seem pretty harsh movement to get through there without without them. But on the other hand, with only one pack, I'd be skeptical that they're logical. If we're going to make you have them at all, I would think they'd want you to have more. But I could well be wrong. Oh, and more health. Excellent. On with bombs. That's the other one we got. Excellent. No, not getting up from there. I think that would be doable with a cross-room jump, but those are, of course, not in logic. Pool Float diving into the lava to get some missiles. Definitely worth it. I suspect Dark Zelda's going to follow him right in here. I think it makes the most logical sense. You've just found Varia. The thought should be, where does the seed want me to use Varia? Oh, I looked away to mark something on the tracker and see that Pool Float picked up something else that I missed. Screw attack. Very nice. My guess is heading back to Gauntlet, where they picked up Space Jump next, would make the most sense. Between bombs and screw attack, it'll be pretty easy to get through there. Ah, yes. And clearly demonstrating Morph makes this room a lot easier to get through. And Dark Zelda gonna go check what's below Batcave. Also very sensible. But we'll just find jail. Ooh. Getting a bit stuck there is Pool Float. Manages to get out, only losing about an E-Tank. And now has to get through this Metroid room. Screw Attack will make that trivial. Finds power bombs. That is definitely worthwhile. Now open any doors. And Dark Zelda finding the disappointing fish tank. Looks like Pool Float's going to farm a bit before heading through Gauntlet. An annoying place to farm when you don't have a beam upgrade. I mean, to shoot these Zebs or Zebos, I can never remember which is which, twice. Nice clean path through Gauntlet, only taking 5 damage. Oh, some nice bouncing from Zelda to avoid the damage there. It is tight timing to get through that with regular bombs. It's much, much easier with power bombs. And we're finally going to see what's through this yellow door. Well, just took a save, so it does make sense to peek this item, though they can't collect it. Very convenient place for a save, all things considered. And just a missile. playing an instinctual power bomb there since they don't have any actual use for it, but totally understand. We've all done that. Hopefully Indiana Jones has something useful for us. High jump. I always love high jump. Especially if you've got to use space jump a lot, it seems to make the window for acceptable inputs a lot wider. Ooh, DrkZelda almost taking a death, leaving Gauntlet, but manages to make it out. Ooh, down to 30 health. Nice, kills an Amahe for safety. Oh, and we're in Watering Hole. That makes sense, as we've just found high jump, and this is in logic with high jump. All it requires is a crouch jump down grab. But just some ammunition. All in all, DrkZelda appears to be, I would say, about 2 to 3 minutes behind. Certainly recoverable. Still haven't seen any objectives, or any beams, or gravity, or speed booster. Those are probably all of the important things we could care about at this point. Zelda also peeks the useless missile. And high jump collected for DrkZelda. The main hall's never a fun room to get through, but Screw Attack makes it not too bad. Heading straight up. We still haven't found a map anywhere either. Until right now. Pool Float finally getting our first map. There's nothing in Wreck Ship but A major and a bunch of health. And to see what the major mother turtle is hiding is. Guess is gravity. Feels like this seed wants us to have gravity right around now. And ooh, that's not ideal. Did have a recent save though, just a couple of rooms ago, so that's not too bad. The only place I can think of that they can get to is the fish tank, so gravity would make sense to me. Though there could also be a shine spark technique out there that might be in logic. Oh, it is speed booster. Taking some damage to go get that other X up here. Believe that's some supers. Just power bombs. Only space jump makes getting out of here fairly safe. Ooh, those side hoppers. Very dangerous. Meanwhile, DrkZelda's got the map now, and so is just that speed booster behind. And it's pretty close to them. I think they might be catching up a little bit. Perhaps from the death to the Mama Turtle. Now the question is just, is Pool Float going to go collect some health before leaving Wreck Ship? And it doesn't look like it. Oh, nice. Getting through those side hoppers without any damage is never easy. I think they might just have to shine spark up Fish Tank. That looks like the only thing they can do. Not 100% sure I remember the room right before it, so maybe that's too short a path, but I don't see anything else they could possibly do with Speed Booster. Oh yeah, you can get a Shrine Spark in here quite easily, I assume. DrkZelda's got their speed booster and is trying to figure out where to go use it as well. This is a slightly tighter speed boost than I would have expected for medium. Maybe this isn't the logic. Maybe it is, I don't know. I didn't think any short charges were expected in medium. Oh, almost got it. One-taps are. That makes sense. They're certainly easy enough to be, but it's always hard to guess. I think he's ideally going to want to do an angled one here. I think if you do it straight through the door, you might get through there. There we go. If Dark Zelda can pull off that Shine Spark a touch faster, he'll be right on Pool Float's tail. Gravity, there we go. That opens up the rest of the sea. They've got every movement ability they could possibly want now, with the possible exception of Grapple Beam if Pants ends up being needed. It's just a matter of collecting beams and or ammo until they can kill Mother Brain and finding the objectives. Dark Zelda heading down first, though. That's going to cost some time. That is unfortunate. They would elsewise be pretty much on par with where Pool Float is. Guessing Pool Float's going to head for this map. Oh, that troll map. Not where it looks like. Dark Zelda getting this map first. It's going to see the major they missed up top and hopefully head back towards it. Ooh, that is a delightful escape. We also see bowling down there and Bomb Chorizo up there. Very resourceful Meridia. Guy Missile's proving annoying as ever, but he gets the reserve on the second try. Bit of a high five through that door, as it does look like Dark Zelda's heading back towards the major that we know is gravity, but he doesn't. He's going to be very happy when he acquires it. Oof, a fish almost knocking him down. Oh, just missing that jump. I think that's a simple crouch jump up there, though. Might be waiting. Gonna use the pirate platform. And with that stumble into the map first, I think puts them more or less on par, if not maybe even puts Dark Zelda a tiny bit ahead. So he's going to head and get this disappointing major here. I don't remember what it was. Spring Ball, I want to say? I think it was Spring Ball. Which is a good, yeah, Spring Ball. Excellent, because I did not mark that off. Pool Floats tracker before either. I've got to assume Dark Zelda's just going to go kill Bomb Terizo from here. Might as well get it over with. He's pretty close to next to it. Bomb Terizo just holding some missiles. Pool Float took quite some time looking at that map. Hopefully they've devised a clever plan. Bomb Terizo down. Pool Float looks like they're following the same way. So our chatter cup holders is saying a optimal one tap is 22 tiles and medium never requires shorter than 25. So a suboptimal one tap can be in logic, with a normal charge being 32. Thank you very much. Excellent time for a save for Dark Zelda. It has been a while. Looks like they've chosen to head to Torian next. Now, Norfair was also an option. But perhaps Norfair was a bit further away. And the map is quite close, so that's nice. So long as it isn't positioned in a trolley way. this might even be Fantune, which would be excellent since we know where bowling is, but it is not. Torian is nothing but 3 majors and an exit to Criteria. As they have little in the way of the ammo, it's not surprising they're going to hunt these majors down, even though they have everything they need. I'd assume they're simply hoping for charge and or plasma, and maybe ice. I do not know if either or both of these runners know how to do ice Zeb skip. But I would think it's most likely that they do. The two are very, very close to each other now, just a couple of rooms away. Oh, an X-ray is on the tracker now, so I guess I should mark that. It did not used to be. Wave beam. Always love to see wave beam. And plasma. And not be unhappy about plasma, though I'm sure... Well, I suspect they might have preferred to see charge there. Map in Terraria is the map in Criteria is a fair ways away, but it looks like there's at least one big room to get us close to it. To start off with. Oh, and the toilet. That might put us almost right next to it. Yeah, just at the bottom of this room. No objectives, but 3 more majors. There aren't a lot of majors left, so that's at least 2 beams. No, I mean, it's 3 beams if you count grapple beam as a beam. A perfect world, I suppose. You'll find ice charge grapple. That would open up everything. I looked at Pool Float's screen right as DrkZelda collected something. It wasn't grapple. Yeah, it was ice. Nice. And charge. All right, full beam combo. Kind of thought with that they'd just leave Criteria, but they do appear to be at least grabbing this X. And maybe even going for the last major in here. Oh, I see. That was just a faster route back. Yep, our runner's at basically the same spot now. Pool Float arguably taking the slight lead. I think we're not going to see that last major, which is fine. It can't possibly be useful, well, unless it's grapple and pants ends up being necessary and they don't know the ice clip. But that is extremely unlikely. At this point, it's just hunting objectives. We already know where bowling is. Gotta find Acid Chozo, Golden Torizo, and Fantune because of bowling. Pool Float running past the save point, but then thinking, no, should probably save. So we have our runners in the same save room at the same time with the same ammunition and upgrades and health. Doesn't get closer than that. Both presumably heading towards, well, could be Brinstar or Norfair. We've got exits to both of them in the same room. DrkZelda heading for Norfair. Pool Float looks like they're going towards Brinstar, so we get a nice route divergence here. I think Pink's a nice room to find early on, but when you've got everything you need to beat the game, it's just a slow room to navigate. Though it's you're never going to say no to health when it's that close by. And of course we get that funky Brinstar music. Gotta love it. Only downside is I can't sing along with it. Running the Brinstar map first. But we've got Fantune for DrkZelda. Our last major's in Brinstar, but no objectives. So a solid revert. Fortunately, they took that one just a few rooms before Brinstar, and they'll be heading to Norfair, but that does put DrkZelda in a pretty definitive lead, since it suggests a lot of our objectives are here. I don't know if we've seen every region yet. I always find that hard to keep track of. We've definitely seen what? Criteria, Torian, Meridia, Wreckship. Yeah, I think we've seen all the regions then. So that should mean all of the remaining objectives are here in Norfair. Not going for, attempting at least to go for a microwave, but missing it. A bit tricky on Fantoon, a lot trickier than on Dragon, is you can't do it unless you first knocked him once with a missile or the like. And Pool Flute going through Butt Wound. Fantoon down on one screen, Bot Wound down on the other. If I referred to Fantoon as Spore Spawn during that fight, my bad, I have no idea. I do that about half the time and cannot help myself. Finally getting our probably last map here in Norfair. Oh, there's Golden Torizo. And there's Acid Chozo. So yep, all of the objectives here. DrkZelda officially in go mode, though they may choose to pick up some health. I don't know how comfortable they are doing Mother Brain with only a reserve's worth of spare health. Well, as there's one in the room with them and they're not picking it up, I guess they are quite comfortable. DrkZelda getting into the safe spot. I'm throwing some missiles away. I'm not entirely sure why. With Plasma, I feel like it's a faster kill to just use charge shots, but I could be wrong. Maybe Supers is faster regardless. Like, using Charge Beam now. And Golden Torizo down on one side, while Fantoon is down on the other. Fantastic. Oh, so he'll keep shooting out orbs if you have a lower missile count. Right, I have vaguely remembered hearing something about that, but I've never practiced it or learned it properly. I need to do that one of these days. Both runners now have all the information they need, but DrkZelda has a pretty substantial lead. Only not insurmountable, though. Pool Float choosing to get some safety health. Decision I always appreciate when it's this close off the path you have to take anyways. Well, down goes Crocomire. Poor guy never knew it hit him. Pool Float seems to be heading towards the Acid Chozo before taking out Golden Trezo. Should be fine. I can't see any reason to prefer one order over the other, regardless of where it is. The exit to Meridia is kind of out of the way by about the same amount, I think. We get to see two different versions of Crocomire's death animation on screen, more or less at the same time. Alrighty, Acid Chozo done for Dark Zelda. Only a few moments away, Pool Float will have done the same. Dark Zelda picking up some spare health here. That's good to see. Alrighty, back into Meridia, where everything we need remains. Bowling is over to the left. Mother Brain is literally right next to the ship. And we've got the GT fight going for pool float here in a second. GT down. Oh, I gotta kill ninja pirates to get to bowling. All right, all objectives done for Dark Zelda. What a slow rooms to get through to get to and from bowling. Another handshake in the pirate room. Dark Zelda taking a safety save on the ship. We're heading straight for Mother Brain. Dodging the mini crate when he needed to kill it. Alrighty, all objectives cleared for both players. Alright, turning off screw attack, so it looks like we are going to get to see a nice skip. Well, an attempted one anyways. They do have quite a bit of ammo, so they should be fine just killing these. A nice clean Mother Brain 1. And if anybody wants to guess the escape timer, now would be a good time. It's not going to be long. I'm guessing 25 seconds. Yeah, Mother Brain looks to be dead. Definitely the closest race I've seen yet this tournament. I know there have been a few closer ones that I did not see. It was 25 seconds. And DrkZelda taking game number 1. Good job. This is, of course, a best of 3, and I believe we'll be having another one momentarily. This is my first time commentating a best of 3, so I'm not entirely sure how that works, but just stay here, and I'm sure the next one will start sometime the next 5-10 minutes. Although perhaps not noticing that DrkZelda has taken the game, or just deciding they want to finish it out with it this close. I would probably finish it out. Ooh, a 2-second one earlier today. Nice. That would be excellent, Slam. I can't confirm you, but if you post about it in the Discord, I'm sure somebody will. And Pool Float finishing. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game 2 of our match between Pool Float and DrkZelda. DrkZelda took the first game by around a minute. And this time we're doing the item draft and bosses mode. And starting with Varia and High Jump. DrkZelda picked Varia, and Pool Float picked High Jump. They had banned Morph Bombs and Speed. Of course, ban doesn't mean we won't see those items, it just means they couldn't choose to start with them. Starting in an ammo refill room is kind of nice. You know, always know you're not going to have to farm too badly or get stuck without any power bombs. Interestingly, Pool Float seems to have chosen not to use area tiling this time when they had used area tiling last time. I'm seeing Spore spawn right away here. Not going to be able to fight him just yet, though. A lot of dead ends. Good thing we got a save point. Ah, there's Morph. And excellent. We have Slam on tracking this game, so I don't have to constantly distract myself trying to do that as well. Thank you very much, Slam347. Pool Float missing the Morph hole there on the first try. And getting their power bombs. Can certainly get through the moat with those power bombs, but I don't believe there's any logical way to get back. As is often the case with these seeds, particularly in medium, I find it a bit harder to get off the ground in the early game. Hard seeds, I think, kind of guide you where you need to go a little bit faster. And both runners heading into effectively the same door now. Though I don't... oh yeah, with high jump you can get this. Ah, getting our green missiles. With the map over there, they're gonna head straight across the room. Dark Zelda choosing not to keep going, with Pool Float heading across, having turned off high jump to make those mid-air morphs a tiny bit easier. A major up there is not yet accessible. Well, it potentially is. Ah, there it is. Off to the left is that major you can get with the power bombs. But logically, they can't do Spore Spawn, I believe, with only 4 supers, because none of Spore Spawn's little spores drop extra supers. They can beat him, they just can't miss more than once. And I don't think the logic expects that level of precision here. Alright, DrkZelda getting back into the Morph Ball tunnel and gonna go for that map now. They did pop out to save first, so at least once they get the map, they can just revert out of it without losing anything. Nice, killing those side hoppers with a single power bomb. And being rewarded with Space Jump. Not an item I ever like to see, but definitely can speed up some rooms and make a lot of things accessible that otherwise wouldn't be. And DrkZelda finally making it through that Morph Ball maze. It is a touch on the tricky side to get through without gravity or really any movement upgrade other than high jump. Looks like Pool Flow's just going to head straight for Torian, I think. Possibly stopping off to check what that top major in bowling is, but I don't believe either of the majors down there are actually accessible right now because they'd have to go backwards through Botwoon. Possible the logic wants you to take that missile pack and head back to Spore Spawn. You get the item past Spore Spawn, although I didn't follow logically with my eyes the entire path from Spore Spawn to that major. There might have been other things blocking it. More supers here for Pool Float as DrkZelda comes in here to collect their Space Jump. I think it's possible with that refill station that DrkZelda is considering going for the Spore Spawn kill. It doesn't look like it. Oh no, it does look like it. Ha! If this is where I think it is anyways. No, it isn't. I was right the first time. It doesn't look like it. Excellent. E-tank for Pool Float. Always feels good to get your first one of those. DrkZelda heading towards the wrecked ship map. No bosses, but quite a few majors here in Wreck Chip. I think I counted 4, maybe 5. Pool Float getting out of Mickey Mouse without falling through the crumble blocks. That is crucial. And they do not know if they could get back from that. Just bombs. Not too exciting when you've already got both space jump and power bombs, but does greatly reduce the chance that you end up getting power bomb blocked by something and needing to farm for pickups. And Pool Float finding Criteria, but unfortunately it's not a room they're going to want to go through just yet. Looking like the wrecked ship play might have been the way to go. Gonna head down through worst room in the game here. Looks like there's a way around once you get down, so he doesn't need to go back up through it. Ooh, taking a big hit there. And finding Charge Beam. That is a fantastic early get. Another major just a room and a half away. Albeit not a room I think you can get through with this loadout very easily. Well, Pool Float looks like they're just having to backtrack, or they're heading to Wreck Ship as well. I'm going for the ammo refill. This has been a seed with a lot of these short mid-air morphs while underwater. You can do them with high jump equipped, but it definitely gives you a couple extra frames window to get them without it. He unfortunately seems to be crouching before he jumps, which is only going to make it harder, as that pushes you a few frames upwards. Getting it. Oh, almost taking a death on that crab. That would have been tragic. Ninja pirates to the left protecting another major. I'm guessing DrkZelda's going to farm up some health first in this room. They're doable with what he's got, but that would require some lucky drops and or not taking any damage to ensure the super drops. Pool Float grabbing the map. And it's in a fairly similar position, though did collect some extra ammo. But is behind in a couple of majors still, but very near them. Won't take them long to grab those. DrkZelda gonna try the Ninja Pirates. Hopefully this goes well. Ooh, missing. Oh, that's too many misses. Fortunately, that door doesn't close on you, so you can farm up and try again. We'll float grabbing these bombs up here. If they decide to head in the same direction as DrkZelda, they're going to have a much easier time dealing with the Ninja Pirates, with their much more ammo. Looks like that is precisely what they're doing. At the very least, heading down here to grab the major that is accessible directly. Charge beam. Are they going to head through the crab hole and get that? Yeah. Alright, so to get this health pickup. On the other side, we have DrkZelda exploring Bubble Mountain, but just finding power bombs and missiles. Missiles are certainly nice. It's their first pack, but don't really need them. We got another, or we got our first Ninja Pirate attempt for Pool Float here. The ammo's quite low. I actually think they'd probably be, yeah, they're going to need to go farm, I think, and try again. Unless they get lucky. They did not get lucky enough. Technically, with Charge Beam, they could still kill them, but it would take a very long time, much faster to farm up some more supers and try again. And DrkZelda getting, yep, more health and some missiles. Oh, also gonna try again with 5 supers. I really think they should farm up to at least 6. But if, well, no misses. They've got enough now. They just don't miss. Nicely done. Pirates down. And what were they protecting? Screw attack. Oh. It's nice to get, for sure, but it's certainly not progression. Oh, we got another attempt of these pirates from Dark Zelda. Hopefully it goes well. This is not something they want to kill a lot of time on when it's not going to be very important anyways. Oh. Now, can still do it, I think. Not just with supers. They want to stand a bit further to the right, yeah. And I think at this point they've missed too many missiles to finish the fight, which they and or their mentor fortunately realize, and they bail. And we're finally going to see what Spore Spawn's been protecting. Starting with missiles this time. Just damage tanking. The second pirate goes as well as the first, it should be all clear. Alright, pirates down on one side and Spore Spawn down on the other. I think there might have been an argument they could have peaked that major before going all the way around for it, but choosing not to. Makes sense as well. The peak is a waste of time if you end up needing it, and this early in the game, there's very few majors you'd skip. Maybe Spazer or X-Ray. I can't imagine anything else. And it's Wave. You definitely don't want to skip Wave. Especially not when you don't have much ammo and you do have charge. And Wave opens up Bot Wound there in Brinstar. That might be the way to go. I'm not sure if that's in logic. That feels like it would be flagged under like a Ken camera manip or something similar, but it might be. Certainly it's what I would go to, it feels like, with it hiding 2 majors and an exit to Meridia. Heading back into Torian. I think they've cleared criteria, and I don't see what else in here. Certainly nothing that Wave opened up. I need to go to one of the other exits from Wrecked Ship. Or maybe they need to go blind their way down Mickey Mouse. Oh, they are choosing to go for the bot wound kill. Or at least to check the item down here. Yeah, the bot wound kill it is. It'll be a bit of a slow fight with only Wave, but an easy one. And this wasn't a mini-boss's seed, they'd be half done. Be interesting to see if DrkZelda goes towards the same area once he finds this wave beam. DrkZelda finally collecting his wave beam as well. And heading for wherever he's going to leave Brinstar, either back to Torian or over to Meridia. Bot wound very low on health now, but just gets faster and harder to hit as he gets lower. Although at least stops shooting projectiles at you, meaning you just plain cannot die at this point of the fight. Oh, and he goes down. Not as slow of a fight as I'd feared. That gives us at least one major. If this major is Speed Booster, it gives us 2. So they are going to have to sacrifice their health leaving. It is never fun. Unless they know Baby Skip, I suppose. That's only grapple. And they're not peeking the other major, which I think is a mistake. That information could be very valuable. That reserve that Dark Zelda has gotten will be a nice little boon if he chooses to come this same pathway. There's some easily farmed health here. It's never what you want to have to waste some time doing. Dark Zelda heading up to Torian first, which makes sense. He hasn't been there yet. Well, Pool Float finally enters Meridia. Oh, nice to have a save right at the start of a zone. And Dark Zelda following now to get this bot wound kill. Not sure what they ran into in Torian that made them decide to turn around as I was watching Pool Float. That's probably for the best that they have. Pool Float gonna do a snail climb, I assume? Or maybe just grapple? Can you get up there with just grapple? Maybe. Well, not from here. Yeah, doing a snail climb to get up through Aqueduct. I hate snail climbing. But they get it and really quickly and safely. Well done. And it's the Fantoon map. That's annoying. Well, two exits here couldn't be further from each other. Finding Fantoon at the first attempt, excellent. And bot wound goes down for Dark Zelda. Dark Zelda collecting its grapple and also choosing... Oh, no, there we go. Choosing to peek the item. Thank you, Dark Zelda. I'm very curious what this is. It's gravity. That is useful information for sure. Zelda heading into Meridia themselves now. Probably gonna head towards the map. As Phantoon dies for Pool Float. Plasma Pirates Major, that's easy to get with Screw Attack. And a Major in one of the Sand Pits, which is... It is a gettable one, though getting out afterwards would be doable, but not easy. I think it would be doable. I can never remember which is which between the various ones of those Evere rooms. One of them is virtually impossible to head towards the right on this loadout. The other one is fairly doable. DrkZelda doing his own snail climb now. Speed booster, that is nice to find. That unlocks gravity, though I don't think Pool Float ever saw that, unless they peeked it at some other time that I didn't notice. But they definitely did not peek it when they were there grabbing the item before. They might not know how important that is. Snail climb finish for DrkZelda. Fantastic. Pool Float going for the health and the X up at the top of Aqueduct. It's an underwater Shine Spark there. That's not in logic, but very easy to do, and I would encourage anybody who doesn't know how to look it up. It's a very easy and fun trick. Gotta assume they're heading towards that lower door fair Morph Ball maze room that's just above them. The Major that's in there. DrkZelda heading up to find Phantoon first instead of down, it looks like, which is not where Phantoon is, but it's not going to be much of a time loss since he's going to want to come to this room eventually anyway. Just Spazer. Barely a Major. Excellent. Pool Float is going to grab that gravity. Chat not liking that I disrespect Spazer, but you know, I've found Spazer a lot and it's useless. Or nearly useless, I should say. Getting their gravity. Say that puts Pool Float into a fairly commanding lead. Certainly one that could be lost if they take a death or find themselves into a soft lock or the like. Now Pool Float's gonna explore north there. Makes sense. And DrkZelda finishing off Phantoon. Certainly a slightly faster Phantoon fight than Pool Float had. Oh, and bumbling into Dragon. Choosing not to fight it on this. I'm gonna guess farming up some health first. You get a good grapple kill, you don't need much health. I think only 60 with both suits, but you never want to go into a fight like that with a window to only... to basically require that you just don't get hit before you get the grapple kill. Dragon may or may not be cooperative. And these flapjacks here do give some decent health. Well, then it looks like DrkZelda's going to head back for gravity. A phenomenal decision. Dragon choosing just not to grab Pool Float there. It's unfortunate. Oh, and it happened again. I think Pool Float was too far to the left when Dragon started spitting the goop. And DrkZelda has their gravity. Excellent. going to try the left side of the screen gooping. It is a little bit more reliable with how Dragon behaves, but a little bit harder to get into the position to grab the quick grapple without having to wait for Dragon to move you into position. Any luck on this health, it won't matter, though it will depend on how many times Dragon decides to poke with the tail. Yeah. Ooh, it's getting low, but yeah, we should be fine. Excellent. Dragon down. If Dark Zelda heads in a similar direction and can take a slightly faster fight, they might be catching up. That is two very large ifs. And it doesn't look like they're headed in the same direction at all. Looks like they're going to go check the items in the sand pit. I think will only really pay off for them if it's plasma, and maybe ice. Well, it's the other barely a major, X-ray. Reverting out of the X-ray grab, that makes sense. And our tracker quite likes X-ray, it would appear. I do too, honestly, but mostly only if I also have ice, since it makes doing any sort of ice clip a lot easier. There's virtually no other use for it in medium logic seeds. Well, I mean, obviously, microwaving is nice, but we've already seen both of the bosses that can be microwaved, so... And we don't have plasma. Like Norfair's got nothing in it after Dragon. Alright, Zelda finding their Dragon and gonna do the same thing that Pool Float had to do and farm up. Yeah, so I imagine it would be more fun if you could do expert tricks. Pool Float collecting some decent health there. Probably set for the seed health-wise with both suits. Dark Zelda is choosing to take on Dragon with only 120 health and a reserve. It's a bold move, but save some time if it pays off. Oh, very close to getting the quick grapple, but not quite, and he does not have the health to just let Dragon carry him up, so he's got to struggle out to try again. Honestly, at this point, he hasn't done any damage to Dragon, so the door should still be open. If it was me, I'd be considering leaving and farming a little bit more. And he's not. If he gets the quick kill here, it'll be worth it. And he does. Fantastic. Well done on DrkZelda's side. Pool Float is presumably heading back towards Torian, so I don't think there's anything left in Brinstar. Or indeed in Wrecked Ship. Back into Crypteria. Oh, the map is right here. That's fantastic. What does Crypteria have in store? Well, we got the ship. It's nice to know. And Mother Brain. It's a relatively short path between them, or at least a relatively straightforward path between them. And none of the other bosses. Oh, no. Ridley's right there. All right. That's good to know. That is a great place for Ridley, because I don't know if Pool Float feels ready for Ridley yet, but I wouldn't on this loadout. And doable, but would be time-consuming. And he's got all the reason in the world to just leave and come back after killing Kraid, and very likely will have picked up some more ammo and or majors on the way. And then DrkZelda hits their map to see that Norfair is pretty much empty for them. You have that revert point, but it would be sacrificing one X. I didn't see what that X gave them. I'm guessing it's a super, otherwise they'd probably be reverting. Pool Float has taken the Hunt for Kraid to Torian. Trying to get the speed booster through the free Croc speed booster hallway. Bit of a tricky Shine Spark to do, I find. And DrkZelda also taking this extra safety health before leaving Norfair for good. Horizontal Shine Sparks are just super, super unintuitive to do. There's a few ways of doing them that is very reliable, but they don't feel right. When the inputs your brain wants to put in don't work reliably, at least in my experience. Getting into that doorway, and then you just tap jump, then hit left, then hold jump again. That would do the trick, but it's it's a very unintuitive series of inputs. Got it, though. Excellent. I This Taurian map sure is out of the way. DrkZelda's finally at a Norfair, and we get our Taurian map. There's Kraid. Now it's just a matter of killing Kraid and collecting whatever they feel they need to do to take down both Ridley and Mother Brain. A fair few X's in here, but they're all a bit out of the way. Well, Charge Wave Spazer, you don't need too many X's, I would think. All depending on how long you want to fight Ridley for. Not hugely familiar with either player, but from what I've seen of this tournament, it looks like DrkZelda's a little bit more comfortable on the bosses, which might be enough for them to catch up here. But it would be a pretty big catch-up if he manages it. Not a super, that's exactly what I'm sure Pool Float wanted. I would think one more super and they'd probably be comfortable to go. Maybe even they're already so. I'm gonna head down here and grab these X's. Oh, or not. DrkZelda almost at the Kateria map. Good intel to be had here. Another super. That is perfect. Pool Float grabbing some extra health as well. Not too out of the way, it makes sense. And another super. Lucky finds there. I am sure Pool Float's probably feeling like they can head towards Ridley now. Well, towards Kraid first. But with 30 supers, enough missiles to deal with a couple of misses, I've got to assume that they're happy to take on Ridley and Mother Brain with this loadout. Here's Kraid. Nice quick crate kill, not the crate quick kill, but a quick crate kill nonetheless. I'm certainly never going to criticize someone for missing a crate quick kill. I barely ever get it. Nice save to lock in the progress. And DrkZelda's found his map, knows where crate is. Knows where all the rest of the bosses is, and just needs to plan his end game. Also collecting some extra supers, which makes perfect sense. That one especially was very close by. It would be silly to skip it under the circumstances. But if he wants to catch up, he probably is going to need to skip collecting all the way to 30. Hard to say. Ridley can be a tricky fight sometimes, regardless of how prepared you are going in. It's certainly possible that Pool Float might die. There's a save right next to him, but on the wrong side. There's an argument, though, that you go up and around, as it does pass through the Gauntlet Reward Shaft, whatever that room's called. Chad is asking if Dark is caught up, and not really. He's made some progress on the catch-up, but he's not quite caught up. He is collecting supers before heading directly towards Kraid, and then they'll be on the same amount of boss kills, except that Pool Float will probably have Ridley dead by then, unless Pool Float themselves dies. This has actually been a very good Ridley fight. Pool Float is a lot more comfortable taking Ridley on in the sky than I am. I am always afraid of missing my supers if I'm trying to shoot Ridley in the sky. Wait for him to pogo, unless I have charged plasma. I'll have no idea what the damage count is, and hopefully a few charge shots will finish him off. And, oh, it looks like he's dead. Good fight on Pool Float's side. That was a very good Ridley. We're starting Kraid on DrkZelda's side. There's positioning, it looks like, for a quick kill. Doesn't quite get it, though. One crate down. At this point, I don't think there's any way Dark Zelda makes a catch-up unless Pool Float takes a death on Mother Brain, but anything could happen. It does indeed look like a Game 3 is most likely. Exciting, we haven't seen very many Game 3s. Pool Float taking a refill at the ship. Makes sense. Now Mother Brain is just way off to the right. I might be trying to look for a close-by refill, as if they have to destroy all the Zebs, they're going to need to refill some ammo. Well, they won't need to, but they probably don't want to do all of Mother Brain or most of Mother Brain 2 on just charge shots. Oh, I'm just gonna go grab some X's. That makes sense. Maybe some missiles. Surely exactly what they were hoping for, and then up here should be 3 more missile packs. I do not know if there was room for speed skip. Looked like Mother Brain was fairly close to the edge of the map, so my guess is no, but didn't explicitly look for it. They didn't do ice skip last time, so I would just assume that they don't do speed skip either, though that is perhaps a silly assumption, as I learned speed skip before I learned ice skip. Powerbomb door in that room is just rude. And the Ridley fight starting for Dark Zelda. And the down skips on those zooms not quite working out. No, yeah, definitely no room for a speed skip on Mother Brain, unfortunately. Readily down on one side as we enter Mother Brain on the other. I think this is 28 charge shots that they need. I could well be doing the math wrong. And yes, as Chad is doing their guesses now for his ship escape, that is a sensible thing to do. It's not going to be long. It's a fairly long zone, but they're both in the same zone, and it's a very straightforward run back. My guess is a minute 20. Oh, Mother Brain looks to be dead. Good fight on Pool Float. Minute 15. Nobody guessed it. I'm getting a handshake here in the Rising... I think that's called Rising Tide. I am so bad at room names. There's that Screw Attack Pillars. I don't know what that... I need to learn the room names if I'm going to keep commentating. Pillars, yeah. Right, Rising Tide's that long one with a couple of... And Pool takes it. Well done, Pool. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This will be Game 3 of our Dark Zelda versus Pool Float Best of 3. Dark Zelda took Game 1 and Pool Float took Game 2. Both were fairly close, with Game 1 having only about a minute between them, and Game 2, Pool Float finishing off at the ship just as Dark Zelda was about to start Mother Brain. And starting in Big Pink is nice, though on the side that we can't get any of the items without grabbing either a different entrance or Morph Ball. This game's objectives is, of course, pirates. After doing Chozo for Game 1 and bosses for Game 2. Dark Zelda not even bothering with the items here in Big Pink and just heading straight for the map. That makes sense. Though I would find the Siren Song of items too much to deny initially. The big and spindly wrecked ship. Got pit pirates down in the bottom left, and quite a few majors. All spread out. A decent starting loadout of ammo, at least, and some health. Always nice to have an E-tank before you really have to do anything. Coming into our... Well, we would be coming into our first major, but we need Morph to reach it, so we're just peeking it for now. And it is bombs. And Morph is probably just straight up from here. Wall jumps dodging the rippers from Pool Float. And presumably we'll see Dark Zelda doing the same thing here in a moment. Yeah, there's more ball. And bombs are taken for Pool Float, and 2 power bombs right next to them. That is nice. That gets us the major that's just a bit down into the left. Grappling beam. That is not a major that you probably want to see early on, because it could imply that there's going to be some underwater shenanigans, though on medium difficulty it's usually not much in the way of underwater shenanigans. I imagine we'll be heading up and through Big Pink, back down through the floor there would lead us to another major, as would... Well, we can't really go up and around unless we're into that huge hot run through. There's a main entrance to Lower Norfair. Definitely not enough health for that. Ice Beam. Nice to have early on. Already feels like a very open seed, so it's hard to imagine exactly what that unlocks for us. Yes, could be more water movement. If we find high jump and spring ball, then I think we can bet we won't see a gravity anytime soon. Spazer. Never happy to get Spazer, but when it's this early, it's a lot more pleasant than when it's a late pickup. Unless, of course, this here is Plasma. Speed Booster, that's a nice find. Speed Booster could get them through that Norfair main entrance room a little bit more easily, although with another hot rune right afterwards, it could still be a bit tricky. And of course, Pit Pirate's taken care of almost incidentally, since we would have came here regardless. It's definitely nice to see speed early, because it just speeds everything up. Ah, that's the ice logic, is to get you through these Metroid rooms. But on the other hand, you're not getting through that cack alley there. Oh, and it looks like Pool Float has chosen to use area tiling again. Always respect that choice. I'm finding Meridia. The map is nowhere close by. Turning off ice so that they can moonfall down and kill the pirates. And the Torian Ghidorah room is always just a speed bump. Very annoying room. Meanwhile, Dark Zelda is pretty much following in Pool Float's footsteps, just a room or two behind, and finding the same dead end in Cack Alley. Get a decent save here to revert to if need be, while still hunting the map. I'm finding an entrance to Norfair, but not a useful one. Yeah, they might be deciding to peek that item. No. Guess not. DrkZelda just farming up some extra health pickups here before leaving Torian, or wrecked ship rather. Another entrance into Norfair, though much more functional, that one. Still not where they want to be right now, it looks like. Yes, two cup holders are saying that they think the health pickups might be for DrkZelda to try main hall, and I agree, that would make sense. Float also finding an E-tank here. But of course, they're looking for the map and just keep finding dead ends or exits to Norfair. Yep, getting up through that main hall. Question is if this major's worth it. At least there's a nice refill room here. Well, an awkward, neat refill room, but certainly a serviceable one. Varia, that is a good play, it turns out. That is not something Pool Float is going to want to have missed. Zelda trying to make this jump, but can't quite do it that way with Speed Booster. You can get up there without turning Speed Booster off by just running across the bottom and taking a jump. Meanwhile, Pool Float is starting a fight with a ghost. Nice shine spark through main hall there. Skip all those annoying fire pillars. Ooh, no, taking a death against Fantoon. That is not good. Oh wow, getting plasma beam. It was definitely, even without Varia, I think this might have been the play. But with Varia and plasma, that is a very fortuitous play for Dark Zelda, and I think it might just put them in a significant lead. Wolflow finding X-Ray, but can't really compare that to Varia. I was getting close to this Norfair map. Yes, that is true, as Cupholders is saying in chat, that because we don't have to fight Ridley, the lack of Varia might not be completely game-changing if Pool is comfortable enough doing a few hot runs here and there. We have so far seen most of these hot rooms are kind of dispersed. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see 2 or 3 really big ones in a row. That's when things get really difficult. Or if you have to go through something like Wasteland. Nobody wants to do Wasteland without Varia. Or worst room in the game, for that matter. What do we have here? Charge beam. That's very important, at least. Probably the only thing that could have been better for them there would have been gravity. I have to do a reverse gate glitch to get out, though. That's not ideal. One of the easier ones, since there's a refill spot right next to it, but they're always a bit of a gamble. Nice. Got the reverse gate glitch. Oh, and yep. 2 back-to-back, as chat is saying. I had already forgot about this one. At least this one isn't under heat pressure. Doesn't technically make it harder, but it does functionally make it harder for a lot of us. And I get refill room here, too. That's a bit of a spicy hot run to get that Matra up there. It's definitely doable, but spicy. that save room is a little bit out of the way. Crab maze is not a fun room to go through. And yeah, Brinstar does indeed look enormous. I'm choosing to go for this major without the save first. That is bold. But not wanting to go through Crab Hole or Crab Maze is very understandable. DrkZelda heading through a wasteland now. And funny, high jump. Unfortunately, Pool Float took some damage from the spikes even before getting to this hot run. It's not a hugely difficult hot run or anything, but it was at least 1 to 2 rooms worth. Oh, that's good. They got through. Oh, and Metroids. Oh no. Oh, this is gonna be close. Nice. That was really well done by Pool Float to survive that. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. They'll be really close on having the health to get out. So long as they don't get hit by Rinkas, I think they can do it, but it'll be close. DrkZelda doing a gravity crossroom jump up into Main Street. And Pool Float's made it safely back to the refill room. Probably wasn't worth Spring Ball, but who knows. Yeah, with high jumps, Spring Ball, Grapple, and Ice found, this could theoretically be a seed where we just do not find gravity for a long time, but it is super, super rare on these medium seeds. If this was a hard seed, I'd say, yeah, we're just probably not going to see gravity until the end of the seed, but I don't think I've ever played a medium seed that kept gravity from you that long. Nice Shine Spark up there. That was really well done. First try. And a good job getting up that Bat Cave. That single tile wide hole that you have to spin jump up is tricky. Usually try, if I have ice, to leave the second, what's called Screeze, I think, alive and freeze him in position so you can use him to line up easier. Oh, step 9 gravity. Yeah, that's wild. That was a really nice horizontal Shine Spark by DrkZelda. Oh, that's a worrying one. It does lead towards the map, but you never know if you can get back where you want to be after falling down that shaft. He chooses to go for it. And is rewarded with an E-tank to start with. Pool Float just finding more hot rooms, unfortunately, that they do not have the health to want to deal with. Really, they only... Well, I guess they could go to Brinstar here, they could go to Criteria, or they could head towards Main Hall and go get their Varia. Hopefully they get their Varia, but, I mean, there's certainly logic to going elsewhere. Heading to Brinstar. DrkZelda's gonna have to lose most of their health here, unfortunately. Oh, but finding Main Street and deciding to just bail. With Ice and Spring Ball, you can get back up from Main Street, but I don't think it would be in Medium Logic. I think Medium Logic would probably want you to have High Jump as well. I could certainly be wrong. So bailing on Brinstar for now. Hopefully that leads them to Varia, but it might just lead them to Criteria instead. All the speed boosting up to the top of Aqueduct to just find some missiles and a health. That is excellent, because he had to burn most of his health between the Metroid and the Shine Spark. And it gets him a map as well. What does Brinstar have in store? Objectives is what it has in store. A lot of them. Other Rain we'd already seen, but it's also got Plasma Pirates and the other pirate. I guess that's mini-grade pirates. Despite being in this tournament, I haven't done any pirates practice runs yet, and I probably should do that one of these days. Alright, Pool Float grabbing this E-Tank. Well, actually, I think it was a reserve, but this health will hopefully mean heading towards Varia, but impossible to say for sure. Oh, DrkZelda finding Wave Beam. Still not having charge, so that doesn't do a lot for them. And we know charge is down like kind of a long one-way that doesn't lead to anything else useful. So they may never find it. It might end up being that this seed comes down to was it better to skip charge or to get charge. Hard to say. Pool Float finally going through main hall. I'm gonna find their Varia up here, which is very nice. It's feels like DrkZelda has a commanding lead due to having that earlier, but they haven't actually gotten any other objectives done because of it. They've just found info and maps. So with a bit of luck, Pool Float could potentially catch up by just stumbling into things easier. I believe the C connector was on the upper left of wrecked ship. Upper right, sorry. I struggle with my lefts and rights at the best of times. Pool Float gonna head over to the left here and find their plasma beam. Oof, assuming they don't take a death. This is a very annoying place to navigate. Fortunately, they can just go below it on the way back, at least. DrkZelda gonna snail climb up here. I think with high jump, they can just wall jump up there even without the underwater wall jump tricks. You can just do a regular wall jump. It's wide enough you gain a little bit of height each time. Oh, careful there, don't shoot the snail. Oh, not quite. That'll give you the height. Oh no! They can also get a shine charge and just shine spark up to the top and then come back down. I know they know how to do the underwater shine charge because they've done it further to the right there, but I guess doing it the really short one is a bit more challenging. There we go. Finally getting up towards our second objective of the game. Killing Kraid. Well, mini Kraid. Kind of looks like Darth Radius is talking Dark Zelda through how to do a shorter Shine Spark here so we can get up and out. I haven't mentioned the mentors much, but of course our mentors are Darth Radius helping Dark Zelda and Fudge Fiddle helping Pool Float. And they can talk our runners through any tricks or logic as they want, as they watch the race. Looks like Dark Zelda hit run button a little bit too late there, I think it was. This is a difficult trick to talk somebody through. I have tried talking somebody through it several times and have had, shall we say, mixed success. Oh, so close. If that had been a diagonal Shine Spark, he'd have had it. Pool Float in here to take down Spore Spawn on their second attempt. Have a much easier time of it now. Could even microwave it if they know how, but doesn't look like they're interested in that. I think with this beam combo, it's 600 damage regardless, so won't take long. Oh, that was so close on Dark Zelda's side. Couple more tries and I think he'll get that. Phantoon trolling, clearly opening his eye long enough to take damage, but just choosing not to. And Phantoon's dead. Chat's asking why they didn't microwave it, and my guess is simply that it's microwaving is a bit tricky. You have to hit him once with the missile first, otherwise they'll just instantly go into invulnerability, and it's, it takes some practice. They might just not have practiced that particular way of fighting him. Finally getting that map. Well, and there's our plasma pirates. And a major way off to the left. And a major up there in, was that Three Musketeers? Right, Metal Pirates. I think I referred to Metal Pirates as Plasma Pirates. I do that a lot for some reason. They are not at all similar. Other than both being pirates, I suppose. Despite signing up to commentate, I'm very bad with words and get them mixed up a lot. Probably because you could use plasma. You can use plasma to kill almost everything. Yeah, except the glass jar and like the ooms and Mama Turtle. Probably a few other things. The trippers. Plasma doesn't kill the trippers. This is gravity here in Three Musketeers. I think that might swip any conception that Dark Zelda's in the lead. Taking the slow and steady route through these key hunters, which makes sense. They are very dangerous and very difficult to dodge. Watching the really good runners dodge them seemingly with ease is always almost irritating how easy they make it look. Oh, wow, that is gravity. Yeah, that is a fantastic find for Pool Float. I had thought there was little chance that they would win after that early Varia for Dark Zelda, but that feels like it swaps the lead, even with Dark Zelda being an objective ahead. Unless the water rooms end up barely mattering. But we've already seen Dark Zelda struggle a lot in Aqueduct. That's a lot of time loss. Looks like Pool Float's heading for this major over here, which I think has to be Space Jump. I think we've seen everything else. Yep, Space Jump it is. Now Dark Zelda is going to be hunting for the map in Meridia, probably. There are no objectives here, but he's really going to want to find that gravity suit. And Pool Float entering into the Metal Pirates. Loads of super missiles here, so these should be quite trivial. I imagine they'll grab that health in the Mama Turtle room, yeah. Very close by, why not? Even grabbing the missile. DrkZelda hitting the Norfair map. Well, probably disappointed with what they see. Not having gravity, they will likely go get both those majors, and one of them is charge. Which is nice, but not crucial. Now, full beam combo now for DrkZelda. Pool float hopefully heading towards Bryn now. Well, DrkZelda heads and picks up Spring Ball. DrkZelda grabbing that Spring Ball and probably wishing he had a better pivot save to revert to. Norfair was not a flush with good save points. Pool float struggling a bit with this jump here, which is understandable. It is a really annoying jump when you don't have high jump. You wait until that bottom platform is at its highest height and then do a crouch jump into a down grab. You can get through it pretty reliably, but it's a fairly specific way of approaching the room. Really needs to be practiced and learned. And of course, high jump is right above it, which would have made that whole sequence much easier. Always enjoy the ironic item placement. Zelda's struggling a bit to get out of Norfair here. Pool Float had done a really good Shine Spark in the previous room, or Shine Charge in this previous room, and then sparked up. That worked quite well for them. Nice. Jumping from that doorway is a really good knowledge test. And I believe was demonstrated in Word's practice plando that he made, that I would encourage any runner who hasn't done yet to give a try. It was a fun plando and a very elucidative one, as are the YouTube videos Words made explaining the logic of it all. Yeah, screw attack got for pool float. They're only one major away from having everything. Oh, it looks like we're going to get a microwave on Dark Zelda's side. Oh, no, he tried it, but got clipped by Fantoon at the last second, knocking him out of his ability to do his X-ray. And pool float coming in on this map data, showing them where both of the other objectives are, as well as Mother Brain, and the ship. So they have everything they need now. They just need to go kill those objectives and be done with it. After two very close games, I think this one's going to end with a pretty commanding lead by Pool Float. Yeah, it is a very close Mother Brain to the ship. All three of these races have been very close Mother Brains. The first one had an escape time of 25 seconds. It was that close. The second one was a minute 15, I think, or a minute 25, somewhere thereabouts. Wish I would get ship and Mother Brain placements like this when I practice, because the escape is by far my least favorite part. And a good Plasma Pirates position, too, is you just go grab them, then refill at the ship, and straight into Mother Brain. Oh, do have to go through Dragon to get there, though. That's kind of funny. Got the X-ray, though, so we can get some fried shrimp. And Dark Zelda finishing off his Metal Pirates. And chat asks, can you be forced to fight Dragon during the escape? But no, the bosses are all instantly killed when the escape starts. I don't know if that's a flag you can disable, but that's certainly how it works on the settings we do. Maybe it's something you can change for other settings. It would certainly be interesting. And Plasma Pirates are done with. Now it's just Mother Brain left for Pool Float, and even if they can't get a Zeb skip, the ship is right there to refill all their ammo. Not even sure it's necessary, depending on how many missiles they whiff killing the Zebs. At this rate, it would take a miracle for DrkZelda to catch up. Probably take a power outage. Though we're certainly hoping that doesn't happen. Yes, might as well have people start estimating the escape times if they want. It ain't gonna be long. I'd guess 50 seconds. Not even gonna go refill his missiles. Just going straight in to do a mostly beam kill. I believe with this beam combo, it deals the same as a super, with the supers being doubled for map right now, so it should be 25 charge shots. Yep, and she's dead. DrkZelda's closer than I thought, mostly because he just never bothered to get gravity, where I just assumed he would never come back here without gravity. That makes sense that he didn't. 30 seconds. Guessed by Cupholder and Cold Slayer. Spot on, you win that metaphorical cookie. And Pool Float has taken it 2-1. Well done, Pool Float. We will see if our runners want to come in for an interview. Welcome, welcome. We've got Pool Float and Fudge Fiddle in here. Good games. DrkZelda looks like they're about to join, as is Darth Radius. So, any initial thoughts on those games?
Well, I'll start by saying GG's to DrkZelda. These were some interesting seeds.
They were indeed. And good games. Good games. I am being told we have to keep this interview pretty short, so I'll stick with a couple of quick questions just to rush through things. So, game 2, or not quick questions, so just comments. Game 2, Ninja Pirates was really what swung it. from Dark was ahead up until that, and then Pool took the lead after that. Though Dark was gaining ground with slightly faster boss kills. And it was really nice to see two very close games early on. This game 3, I think, is the big one with the one with the lead was the least close. Dark was actually ahead throughout most of the game due to finding Varia much earlier. And but then of course Pool Float, you found Gravity, which Dark never found, and that swung it completely in the opposite direction.
Where was
this
Gravity?
was Gravity
Meridia.
was Three Musketeers.
Okay.
That was basically what it was. Again, I was really worried because of dying, and I'll keep it quick, but dying to Fantoon, because suitless Fantoon, I'm terrible. And then, thankfully the game, we got Varia, and then the game's like, go back to Meridia. And then thankfully that ended up being the answer after I managed to take, doing the Adalogic stuff to wind up with Charge, when then finding Plasma. So it worked. There was gambles, and I could tell Fudge Fiddle was like, I don't know if you should be doing this. And not only that, he was saying it out loud. I don't know if you should be doing this. And I was like, one try, I die, I abandon it. And thankfully didn't have to,
How about you, Dark Zelda? You got any particular thoughts you want to share before we have to end, as we've got another stream taking Speed Gaming away from us soon?
No problem. I just thought that they were all very tricky seeds for me. The last one seemed like we did, get off the rails a little bit, but all three, I think I performed pretty good, and
Absolutely.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, for sure. I was literally on Mother Brain when you finished game 1, so I'm like, all right, that was close.
Yeah.
And thanks GG's again. Thanks to Speed Gaming for the restream. Thanks to Fudge Fiddle for mentor. Thanks for comms for tracking, and that's all I got so that you can wrap us up.
Perfect. I will do so. Thank you to the mentors, to the racers. Thank you to our tracker, and of course, Speed Gaming. I'll call it closed, so a link to the past race will be happening here on this channel. Thank you all, and goodbye.